Alright, since I want to do some Master Duel content and don't want you all to be confused, I will show you my current Cyber Dragon list and some neat combos so you're not lost on what's happening. Let's get into it. This is the current list I'm using or want to use in Master Duel, so there's that. So I am playing 3 copies of the original Cyber Dragon, which, if only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. This is a good going second card. I'm playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is normal summoned, add a Cyber spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your grave, special summon a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. You can only use one Cyber Dragon Core effect per turn and only once that turn. I play 2 Cyber Dragon Hertz. I might bump it up to 3, I have no idea yet. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. You can only use one of the following effects of Cyber Dragon Hertz per turn and only once that turn. Meaning, if I use the first effect, I can only use the first effect. If I use the second effect, then that's the only effect I get during that turn. If this card is special summoned, you can make this card's level become 5 until the end of this turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except machine monsters. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one other Cyber Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. We will mostly be focusing on the second effect of this card. I play 1 Cyber Dragon Nashter. It has the similar effect of Hertz, where this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the grave. You can discard one other monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in your grave, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except machine monsters. You can only use each effect of Cyber Dragon Nashter once per turn. I am playing 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier, which is a better Cyber Dragon in my opinion, especially if you are going first, because you can send one other light monster from your hand to the grave, special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When this card is special summoned, you can add one Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Galaxy Soldier once per turn, which means you can special summon Galaxy Soldier, and then search another copy of Galaxy Soldier, and then special summon that Galaxy Soldier as well. Pretty powerful. I am playing 1 copy of Jisekiru, which is just a light machine monster that I can use, and it will come up later. I am playing a Cyberdark Chimera, which is the heart and soul, kind of a really cool combo. So, you can discard 1 spell or trap card, add 1 Power Bond from your deck to your hand. You can only use Dragon or Machine monsters as fusion material this turn. Also, once when you fusion summon this turn, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material. The other effect we don't care about since I don't play other Cyberdark cards. For hand traps, for now I am playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, which means on my opponent's turn or on my turn, you can discard this card, negate that effect. So, if my opponent adds a card from the deck to the hand, I can negate it. If they activate a card where they can special summon a card from the deck, I can negate that. And if my opponent activates an effect to send a card from the deck to the graveyard, that gets negated. So if any of these are applied, then that effect gets negated. And you can only use this effect of Ash Blossom once per turn. I am playing 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. Add a light machine monster that cannot be normal summon / set, or a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. If the activation of this card in its owner's possession was negated by your opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can discard a card, add this card to your hand. You can only activate Cyber Emergency once per turn. I am playing 3 Clockwork Knight, which is all face-up monsters on the field become machine monsters. Machine monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. Also, machine monsters your opponent controls loses 500 attack and defense. And then we don't care about the other effect of this card because I don't play an Earth Machine monster in this deck. I am playing 3 copies of Machine Duplication. Target a machine monster you control with 500 or less attack, special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that face-up monster. I am playing 3 copies of Duality. Tribute a light or dark monster, special summon 1 light or dark monster from your hand or extra deck with the same original type and level, but a different original attribute. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a light and 1 dark in your grave, shuffle both into the deck, then draw a card. Cyberdark Realm. I play 1 copy of Cyberdark Realm. When this card is activated, you can add a Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Cyberdark monster. You can only use the previous effects of Cyberdark Realm once per turn, and then we don't care about the other effect, because this isn't a Cyberdark deck. And then the card that was mentioned before, Power Bond. Fusion summon a machine fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, and it gains attack equal to its original attack. During the end phase of the turn this card is activated, you take damage equal to the amount of attack gained from this effect at the time of the summon. I am playing one copy of Cyber Rev System, which is a special summon a Cyber Dragon from your hand or graveyard, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects. And then for non-engine stuff, I'm playing 2 copies of Lightning Storm. If you control no face-up cards, activate one of these effects. Destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls, or destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. You can only activate 1 Lightning Storm per turn. And then I'm playing 2 of the best card in the game, which is Called by the Grave. I can target a monster in my opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. So, say for instance, my opponent activates an Ash Blossom, and I have Called by in my hand. They activate Ash Blossom, send it to grave. I can chain it with Called by the Grave, banish that Ash Blossom, and negate Ash Blossom's effect. Then I'm playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence to round out the deck. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spell and trap effects in this column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Alright, let's get into the extra deck. I am playing 1 copy of Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon, which requires a Cyber Dragon monster plus 1+ monsters in the extra monster zone, which includes your opponent's. Cannot be used as fusion material. Must first be special summoned from the extra deck by sending the above cards from either field to the graveyard. The original attack of this card becomes 1200 times the number of materials used for its special summon. I am playing 1 copy of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, which requires 2+ Cyber Dragon monsters. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials. When this card is fusion summoned, you can target spells and traps on the field up to the number of materials used for its fusion summon. Destroy them. Once per turn, you can send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to the grave, and if you do, for each monster sent to the grave, this card gains 1 additional attack during each battle phase this turn. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Cyber Twin Dragon, which requires 2 Cyber Dragons. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase. I'm playing 1 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, which is 1 Cyber Dragon plus 1+ machine monsters. Cannot be used as fusion material, must first be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above cards from either field to the graveyard. The original attack of this card becomes 1000 times the number of materials used for its special summon. I am playing 1 copy of Cyber End Dragon, which requires 3 Cyber Dragon monsters. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Piercing battle damage is basically if my opponent has a defense position monster and I attack over it, the defense. So say for instance my opponent has Ash Blossom set. Ash Blossom has 1800 defense, while Cyber End Dragon has 4000 attack. I do 2200 points of damage to my opponent because of that. Constellar Pallades requires 2 level 5 monsters. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card, then target a card on the field, return that target to the hand. This is very good going second. I am playing 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova, which requires 2 level 5 machine monsters. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, then target a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard, a special summon the target. Once per turn, quick effect, you can banish a Cyber Dragon from your hand or face up from your monster zone. This card gains 2100 attack until the end phase of this turn. If this card in your possession is sent to your graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon a Machine Fusion from your extra deck. And then I am playing 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Infinity, which requires 3 level 6 Light Machine monsters. However, once per turn, you can also exceed summon Cyber Dragon Infinity by using Cyber Dragon Nova you control as material. This is called Ranking Up. Transfer its materials to this card. Gains 200 attack for each material attached to it. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up attack position monster on the field, attach it to this card as material. And once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. And then I am playing 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Seeker, which requires 2 machine monsters, including at least a Cyber Dragon. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard. During each battle phase, if this card has not declared an attack, quick effect, you can target a machine monster you control with 2100 or more attack. For the rest of this turn, that monster gains 2100 attack/defense. Also, neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this monster. You can only use this effect as Cyber Dragon Seeker once per turn. I don't know what the other 3 cards are, but this is my current deck list, and I'm kind of happy with it. So, with that said, let me take you on over to the combos. Alright, so this is technically a 3-card combo. So what you're going to want to do first is normal summon your Cyber Dragon Core. And when he's normal summoned, you can add a Cyber spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So we are going to add Cyber Dark Realm. Now with Cyber Dark Realm in hand, we are going to activate Cyber Dark Realm and use its effect to add Chimera Claw from deck to hand. Right here. Or just Chimera. And then we are going to activate Cyber Dark Realm's other effect to normal summon Chimera. And then we're going to activate Chimera's effect to pitch a spell or trap from deck to hand, or from hand to grave, doesn't matter what card, to then add Power Bond from deck to hand. We are then going to link summon Cyber Dark Chimera and Cyber Dragon Core to special summon Cyber Dragon Seeker to the extra monster zone. Next, with the effect of Chimera, we are going to activate Power Bond, sending any Cyber Dragon from our hand to the grave, and then banishing Cyber Dragon Core to then summon Rampage Dragon. Rampage Dragon then gains double its attack, so it is now 4200. And with Rampage's effect, we can destroy spells and traps on our opponent's field because we used 2 fusion material, and then we can activate its other effect. Now, you will always want to send Hurts to the grave. So, depending on your situation, you might want to send something else to the grave along with Hurts. Because with Hurts sent to the grave, if this card is sent to the grave, you can add 1 other Cyber Dragon from your deck or grave to your hand. So you can send a Cyber Dragon Core from your deck to your grave to then add it back for more plays. Normally, you're going to want to send an Ashtar from deck to grave, and then activate Hurts' effect to then add back the card that you just sent to the grave. And now we go into the battle phase, and with Seeker's effect, we give Rampage even more attack, so he now has 6300 attack. And because he can make 3 attacks this turn, your opponent is as good as dead. Alright, for this next combo, you're going to need... well, you don't necessarily need Jizukiro, it's just recommended to have him, just in case your opponent has a very annoying negate monster on the field. 1 copy of Cyber Dragon, Duality, and then Clockwork Knight. So, since your opponent controls monsters, you can special summon Jizukiro to your opponent's side of the field by attributing 1 monster they control. Since your opponent controls the monsters and you don't, you can special summon Cyber Dragon to your field, then activate Clockwork Knight, and since all monsters are now machine monsters, you can then send all cards from field to grave, well, all monsters from field to grave, to then special summon Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, at the very bare minimum, will gain 2500 attack, 2000 from your 2 materials, and then 500 from Clockwork Knight. Going into battle phase, you can now attack your opponent directly, and then during the battle phase, you can activate Duality. With Duality, you can send Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon to the grave, so you need to special summon a level 8 light machine monster from your fusion deck. What level 8 light machine monster can you special summon? Well, you can special summon Cyber Twin Dragon. He also gains 500 attack, so that's 3300 attack. And he can make a second attack during each battle phase, so he can attack twice for 6200 points of damage. And that's your other combo you can do. So if your opponent forces you to go first, what do you do from here? Well, if you have Galaxy Soldier, this is what you can do. So you're going to activate Galaxy Soldier's effect and pitch a light monster from your deck, from your hand to your grave. So I'm going to pitch Cyber Dragon, and then special summon him in defense position. And then activating his effect, I can add another copy of Galaxy Soldier from my deck to my hand. And since I have another light monster in my hand, I can send him to grave to special summon this copy of Galaxy Soldier. Uh, since I sent Hertz, I can add back Cyber, but I'm not going to do that for the purpose of this combo. Since I have 2 level 5s in my field, I can now overlay them to Exceed Summon into Cyber Dragon Nova. With Nova's effect, I can detach a material to special summon back Cyber Dragon. And since Nova is on the field, I can overlay on top of Nova to special summon Infinity. And that's a good going first combo, because now you have an Omni-Negate. You can do more with this as well if you didn't have Cyber Dragon or Hertz in the grave instead. But yeah, that's a good going first combo. Hopefully this video was helpful. So now let's get into the games with Master Duel. I'll see you all later.